it had hands down the best community ever. Like the level of toxicity was so low that I didn't even believe it possible.
They don't communicate to their content creators, to their audience. They don't answer questions. They're just highly lacking in communication. There's no developer transparency. They do updates. They don't tell us what the update even was. They fix a hero. They fix a bug. They don't even tell us they fixed a bug. Like all of a sudden some hero just stops working properly, or like it's just a mess of communication.
Not as content creators only. I feel like you connect more to a game if you're somebody who watches obviously YouTube and Twitch and whatnot. You connect more to a game and you feel more attached to that one when you connect to the content creator, when you connect to somebody else. And I feel like that it kind of increases the importance of that game in your life in a way. It's kind of like, you know, that game means something in your life.
Actually, if the game is not willing to listen to feedback, stop ignoring the question and just address it.
The more silent you are, the less the community is going to trust you, because they're going to be like, oh, they're doing something shady. Oh, they're preparing something. And you definitely don't want that.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Fateless podcast episode. Going to be a fun one. We are joined by Ivy Lee and also Oddone. Going to be kicking off just some hot topics here on gaming. And first, we can just get started with your gaming history and your content and that type of stuff. And we'll pass it over to you first, Ivy Lee.
All right, so this video will be posted after a little introductory video. So I should say, hi, I'm Susie with Fateless, aka Ivy Lee Gaming. And yeah, I'm now the community manager. And this all started with my little content creator journey, I guess, with Raid Shadow Legends, like Brad here, and watching Simon as well. And I started with Twitch, went to YouTube. And yeah, it's all led me here now. I've been playing since the early days of Raid, and mostly focusing YouTube these days, sponsorships and trying out new games, been sticking to Watcher of Realms and Dragonair. But this new job opportunity called, and it's couldn't be more perfect. I already bought the shirts. I bought the shirts to support the people, and for me and Oddone, and of course the little joke was like, maybe we'll actually work for them someday too, and it'll just be perfect. So I willed it into existence.
That's right.
Oh, and TLDR.
You dress for the job you want, right? Isn't that the saying? Is that how it works?
That's true.
That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying here.
Hang on, what's going on over there? Yeah,
Well, hold on. Before, let me just give the quick. In case people are wondering why my eye is covered and my mouth looks derpy, I have Bell's palsy and I'm in recovery from that. I'm doing some therapy, so just a little for people that don't know from watching my channels, I look derpy because my face is frozen.
And by the way, you should check out her channel. I played a lot of Watcher of Realms. If you play Watcher of Realms, or I don't play Dragonair yet, but awesome. Like I spent many hours listening to your the discussions around like what they should and shouldn't do and new champions and all that kind of stuff. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Likewise, I've known both of you for years now at this point. You know, collabs, all that good stuff. I've probably done like 10 videos with you, Ivy Lee, over the years. So yeah, welcome to the team. We're excited to have you. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And then Oddone, go ahead and walk us through kind of your journey as well and what you're up to currently and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm happy to be here for my Fateless job interview. That's why I just started. I'm kidding.
My notes.
Yeah, my notes. Everything's ready. I'm trying to look fancy, just prepared. But yeah, I've been a gamer all my life. You know, I've been playing back in the day, playing World of Warcraft, the OG Warcraft, StarCraft. I've been playing all those games. And you know what I'm doing right now is kind of like living the dream. So for like the past 2 years, started same way as Ivy and same as Chosen, aka Brad. Started with Raid Shadow Legends, doing content. Funny enough, the person that actually made me like jump into doing this was actually Simon, aka Hell Hades. It's like I was debating, I wanted to do it, I wanted to try it. I just DM'd him one day on Discord, asked him for, you know, some tips, some advice, whatever he can get me. And like, you know, 2 years later, here I am covering Raid Shadow Legends, covering Watcher. I did some Dragonair. I played some other games like IMR, Eternal Evolution. So definitely I've been around in the whole gacha industry for the past few years. Oh, and the best thing about this is, you know, I met the love of my life through gaming, which is like the best thing ever.
That's awesome. That's an epic story.
And who is that? I mean, like
it's obviously Brad. It's obviously Brad.
Brad. Oh, congratulations.
I didn't know we were going public with that, but all right.
Yeah, we had to.
I wanted to say
amazing, man.
Oddone. I didn't know you were a StarCraft player. Like, how did I not know this? Come on, like,
We never discussed. I've
oh
been
my
playing.
goodness. StarCraft 1,
I
StarCraft
played all
2?
those
StarCraft
too.
1. I mostly liked 1. I wasn't a big fan of 2. I was playing StarCraft during the time where internet wasn't such a big thing in Romania. We were having a LAN connection between me and a couple neighbors. We had cables. That's how we kept playing StarCraft, like just like crazy people.
Epic. That's awesome. Well,
But so you guys met. When did, I guess maybe just give me the TLDR on like how you guys met, like how did that happen? Like, so yeah, you guys were both content creators, but then it was like you guys were in chat or what?
Twitch.
Yeah, give us
Twitch.
Twitch.
Yeah, you say it because you say it better. You say it better.
Yeah, I was having these like Thursday night shenanigans, like bullshit, drink, curse a lot, have some fun. And he'd always be popping in on those times. Like he was just really funny in the chat and we just connected well. We eventually started talking and then wanted to see where things could go. After a bunch of not even that long of discussion, I kind of was like, I guess I'm moving to Romania. It was technically we barely knew each other, and we just made these decisions to just do the thing and see what happens. And definitely the best decision of my life. We now have a beautiful baby girl, Lily.
Oh my
Future
gosh,
Lily loves gaming.
The legacy is already prepared.
Exactly.
Gee, I love that.
And it's crazy, but American moved to Romania for some dude I met on the internet. Gotta love it.
That's amazing. I can definitely empathize with that. Like my wife and I, like we had been together for about a month when I asked her to marry me. And so it was kind of like it sounds kind of like a similar thing. Like right. When you know, you know.
It's been a week, like we met. It's like the thing was honestly like it might sound cheesy and whatnot, but the first time like I picked her up from the airport and I hugged her, it just struck me, that feeling of like I'm gonna marry this woman. So because like she came to visit between just before Christmas, so on New Year's after 12 o'clock New Year's Eve, I just proposed. I just
that's so romantic. That's amazing.
Yeah, like
that's so cool. And this is a big part of I don't know why I think we all love gaming. Like it really does connect people in like a special way, because we're all kind of we're nerds about like about what we're so interested in what we're doing. And when you find someone that's also interested in what you're doing and you connect with them, I mean it's like something beyond what you can usually get like in college or maybe like your high school friends, stuff like that. Like I don't know if it's unique to gaming. Like it's similar in sports, I would say in a similar way. But I definitely think it's one of the things that I'm most excited about being a part of this project and all the projects, really, and all the projects that you guys had kind of mentioned.
It's in my intro video joining Fateless. Before I moved into game design, I was doing some of the community management type stuff and having fun with that. And I said in my introduction video that my favorite thing about doing the community aspect type stuff is the type of people that come together who wouldn't otherwise come together. And that's what makes gaming so amazing. Like how often would I be talking with people from Europe or Romania and learning about all these different people and different cultures and different ways that things work around the world. So it's an epic opportunity that gaming provides. But awesome story. And thanks for sharing.
Yeah, even Simon came to our wedding. So did the HH Gaming guys. So it's like we've all kind of been connected well. And, it's really fun to see how the world, like first I start out as someone who just watched Hell Hades. Oh my gosh, it's Hell Hades. And then he's my friend who's coming to my wedding. It's like, it's such a cool, weird, it's a weird life circle, but I love it. It's great.
Yeah, I remember geeking out, when you first go into a big streamer or YouTuber's chat and you write something and he answers to you like, oh my God, he acknowledged me. I was geeking out. And then like
we become those people eventually.
And then, we become those people. And then like, having that person at your wedding, it's definitely, it's the type of connection that I don't know, it's hard to see in other places. Like, I don't think, like the only other one, like you said, Sham, I think it's sports, like, people band together on like big sport events. But yeah, definitely gaming has something that connects people.
Exactly, across like everything, right? And I think that's, again, I think that sports does this kind of they're very similar in that way, where it's like you have this thing that you're so passionate about, you spend all of your free time thinking about it, you talk to your friends about it, they're not that interested unless they're really into it, and you're kind of like, oh man. But then when you find your tribe, right, and you find your group that's into, well, if it's sports, it's like that's into your team and your sport. If it's gaming, it's like your your style of game and or even the specific game that you're super into, which I guess it sounded like it mainly started with Raid, and kind of a shout out to Raid. Like honestly, like if I'm honest, if you really think about this, like Raid really has brought a lot of people together. Like it is one of those things where, whether that was fully facilitated in the game or not, either way, it was like massively there's a massive audience of people that are connected now and like have this community, and that's,
I mean, technically Fateless wouldn't exist if Raid never did.
Yeah.
That's why Simon and Dan started working together, and that's why Simon even got into content, which is how Hades, and then they met you because of that, and then it just snowballs from there.
Yes, like I met my wife, I have a baby girl because of that, it's like everything came
You gotta send something over to player and be like, thank you guys.
We like to hate. It's so easy to hate on Raid, but I always have to be like, but fair enough, it's my OG game. I wouldn't be here without it.
That's true. One thing that Raid has done, at least for me, from my perspective, the games that I played over the years, it had hands down the best community ever. Like the level of toxicity was so low that I didn't even believe it possible. Because I used to play back in the day Dota and Dota 2 as well, and like in PvP games in general, the
People
toxicity and negativity is so high. Yeah, like everybody wants to have sex with your mother and all of that stuff. So
you're like, wow,
like,
okay.
Or League of Legends. The 13-year-olds calling you a noob.
Yeah, or something worse.
Same thing. Yeah.
But it's so funny. So I mean, what do you guys think is the difference? Is it Raid itself? Is it the genre? Is it what do you guys think? It'd be interesting to hear your insight. I have an opinion, but what do you guys think?
Oh boy.
Why is it so?
I don't know that it's the genre. I think we just got lucky with the group of CCs that were very social and interactive, because like I'm in Dragonair and we have a bunch of really toxic people in that chat that are terrible. And and then same thing with Watcher. Like Watcher's got actually flowing more like Raid these days. It's super involved. We're having fun. We're collaborating. But I think because of what I knew from Raid, like I brought that into Watcher when I came. Like nobody did collabs. The game was just starting. I got my bucket, who was the guy. I got him in a collab. I got Fastidious joining, and then now we're all doing collabs. Like I kind of was that first person to really start that, and people kind of call me the little social butterfly, or like the glue of the community. So the job kind of fits for me too, with that in mind.
Seems like it fits.
There's a reason why you got a CM job and I'll be. That's definitely. But from my point of view, I think at least this is how I see it again. I think what made the Raids community be so good, it's like Ivy said as well, the content creators. There was like a really good group of content creators, which Brad was part of as well. But it's also, I think, the fact, and I think I discussed this with you, Mrs. in the past, is the fact that the age of the people that play the game.
That's true.
Because in this industry, it's spending is a little bit of a part of it, and it kind of makes sometimes the game more enjoyable and whatnot. And the fact that the average age of people playing was like 25 or over definitely makes it better. It's like less of a chance to have those young people that constantly swear and their hormones are kicking and whatnot. And I think that definitely had a massive impact on what's it called? I can't know words.
Just the dynamics,
Dynamic, and the way the people behaved in those communities.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of my feeling. I feel like it's these games are kind of built on nostalgia and kind of like the feeling of like, I mean, that's kind of what we're going for is that feeling of like of community of an RPG but it doesn't require the same, like in World of Warcraft, you have to spend your whole day, your whole week getting prepared for whatever, for like a raid or stuff like that. We just don't have time for that. Like as you get older, you start having kids, you start having like a job. You don't have as much time to do it in that format. And so I think that this it's like the combination really of the genre and then the age of the players and the kind of just the general maturity of like somebody who wants to spend their time organizing a team, which is what you're doing, right? You're building these teams, you're collecting your heroes, organizing a team to overcome challenges, right? At the core, that's what you're doing these games. So now granted, that's also kind of true for like a League of Legends, but it's more like, well, I'm an individual on that team and I want to, and if we're not doing well, it's probably everybody else's fault, right? It's kind of a different mentality, maybe. I don't know, like that. Brad, what do you think? Do you think that's What do you think?
Of why Raid was successful.
Well,
In
not
terms
right
of
was
building a
successful,
community.
but like why is the community like so whatever the opposite of toxic is, not toxic,
Yeah,
friendly? Yeah.
I was there at the very beginning as one of the first streamers, and to me, which is why I say the number of heroes is so important. I think one of the big reasons was no one knew what they were doing, and the collaboration was kind of forced. Like I literally had to set up a command on my stream for people's first question because it was the same thing every time. So you would literally type exclamation point first, and it would tell you to 6-star KO. Because I was getting literally like 1,000 people a day that would come into my stream back in the early days of Raid and be like, "Who do I 6-star? Who do I 6-star? Who do I 6-star?" So I
That's
literally
so
set up a
fun.
command. But it was there's so many heroes that people didn't know what they were doing, so the incentive was high to go to places like streams and Discord and start talking with people. Whereas some of these games that come out, they have like 42 champions, and people are like, "Oh, okay, I'll just do this." So. I think it's a big reason they launched with 300 plus, and that was a big driving factor in the collaboration taking place. But yeah, it's also so like the only dark fantasy one. Like a lot of the mobile games are like the anime, gacha, Eastern type of style. So Raid really hit a niche with lots of champions, lots of reason to collaborate and come together and discuss, and I think that's a big reason why.
Yeah, I agree.
And the other games, I guess the other games that you guys are working on, like you're saying that that Watcher kind of has that feeling of like
yeah,
of
it's
the community.
really
Talk about that.
it does. It took a little bit, and of course there's always got to be that guy in like every chat or someone. There's always one, at least it's a little bit, but I think it's just been so constant, and I feel like people always commend me on the fact that I work with small YouTubers. So like I always get comments about people appreciating that. I'll bring on someone who has 20 subscribers. Like I don't care what your subscriber count is if you seem cool or I like your content. Like I try to, so I really helped some smaller channels grow, and I like to showcase smaller channels or react to a video or something. And I think that it's really kind of opened the door. Like Fastidious is very interactive as well with other CCs, and I feel like people are just getting used to seeing collaborations, just like in Raid. Like collabs are so normal in that. I think it's just becoming more normal, and people really seem to like it. I feel like I get so many more comments on collabs in Watcher, even than I did in Raid. Like just people liking collabs. I don't know.
It's just a better vibe. For me, I could sit down and chat with anybody. Like I love just like going down and just like hearing people's stories. But when I'm talking into like a camera and I have to do a video, I don't understand how you guys are literally, it's impressive. I'm like, I don't know how you guys get through a full video talking to the void, which of course is the community, but like I'm, looking at staring at the camera. It just, for me, it just feels, I think if I had someone, that I'm chatting with, like if I'm chatting with Brad or chat with you guys, it's no problem. And so I think that's maybe part of it is that it's easier for most people to kind of communicate and connect, and they can see that connection. It's fun, like it's like maybe more fun but you guys putting out content that doesn't have someone else there. I don't know how you guys do it. Like it's it's amazing.
I mean, we all started being awkward looking at the camera, looking just constantly staring at it, not even looking at anything else. Yeah, we all started awkwardly, but after a while you just get used to it, because like the good thing is obviously you always have a subject, and if you stick to the subject, everything just stuff flows, and next thing you know it's like 10-20 minute video. And I feel like touching on the subject earlier of like community and the CCs banding together, I feel like as players, like not as content creators only, I feel like you connect more to a game if you're somebody who watches obviously YouTube and Twitch and whatnot. You connect more to a game and you feel more attached to that one when you connect to the content creators, when you connect to somebody else. And I feel like that it kind of increases the importance of that game in your life in a way. It's kind of like, that game means something in your life because you feel like I'm connected to Ivy, or I'm connected to Oddone, or any other person there. I feel like that's how it brings it. At least that's how Raid was for me. Like for me, every single night that Simon was streaming, I was there.
Me
Like, doesn't
too.
matter if I was working, I would try to finish work quicker because during that time I was a delivery driver in the UK. I was doing Amazon.
Oh.
If I knew that Simon was streaming earlier, I would to rush to finish my parcel just to be there in time for Simon.
Now that's a
how
good
it was for
Amazon
me.
driver right there.
Yeah, damn, dude.
And
you should see the streets of the UK. Oh my God, they're so tight and so tough with a van. Ugh,
Yeah.
never.
I do want to close a loop and redact my previous statement because I was wrong. There is a definitive reason that Raid had the community building aspect in the early days that all of these games get wrong, and that is the fact that there aren't multiple servers. Everyone is in the
That's
same
true. That's
server.
why Watcher's the
That
same.
is
Watcher's
that
the
is the
same.
number one reason by tenfold. Like, because I was also a content creator for Diablo Immortal, and you're streaming and people pop in. Oh, hey, can I join your clan? And then you gotta be like, well, do you happen to be
Well,
on my server out of 300 servers?
Yeah.
No, I'm not, and I can't restart. It's like, well, GG. But on Raid, people are in Twitch streams. Hey, yeah, join my clan, pop on in, and you can recruit. Like, that is why everybody being in one universal server. That's the difference between Raid and a lot of these other games.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I think
go ahead.
this is what, for example, for me, this is what Dragonair killed it for me. Like, it's my favorite game. I love it, but the fact that they're so split in different servers and whatnot, and everybody's like months behind.
Well, servers and
months ahead.
seasons, right? I mean, like that's
And
yeah,
the
and seasons as well.
Yeah.
It's just a killer. Like, you cannot. That's the worst thing. If you try to connect with your community, be like, oh yeah, join my clan. You cannot. I don't know. I have to start over so we can be in the same season, same server, and it just kills it. You know, it basically they completely killed the sense of community.
And
Well,
content
that's
creation
bad.
as well.
And
So
content creation.
yeah.
the content creator side of things, what do? We're making videos on season 4 while you're just starting season 1, and then someone's like, oh, how do I beat this? I'm in season 2. I'm like, I don't even remember what sets
I don't know.
were
Just
on
go
those.
back to
You know,
that
like,
and watch
I
my
don't
video.
know. I
like,
might have a video on that. Maybe go look at my channel. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like, it's so hard to create content for that game the way it is.
We were talking about that when Dragonair was launching. We were like, this is gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. And
right. We're like, thanks. It's very. What do we say? That's very brave.
Yeah.
That's very brave of them to do it that way.
I give them credit. I give them credit for trying something new, trying to innovate the genre. And I'm glad they tested it for us. You know, like,
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't
Don't
do it
do
that
it.
way.
I mean, and this is the thing. I think what's, I don't know at what stage that decision was made. You know what I mean? I just don't know because I don't know their process. I don't know how long. Maybe
Beta
you know.
1 was not. Yeah, Beta 1 before February was normal. Just, I think there might have been servers planned, but at least everyone, it was just a normal open game like Raid. Like, it was just like,
this is a huge insight for me, because for me, I would imagine that they would have had their Beta 1 group, people are playing, they're having a good time, they're chatting with, you know, that little community that's kind of building, and then if it was Fateless and we were going to make a massive decision like that, we would probably like we would
they
get a
didn't tell
sense.
anybody. They didn't communicate at all. We're just like, oh yeah, by the way, guys, here's the new season 2. Here's season, like, oh, it's a season
You're
2.
like, wait, what?
But you didn't
CBT2
even
was just
know there was going to be
seasons.
seasons?
We didn't even know it was until
they announced
happening.
season 2?
That's the number one problem with Dragonair is communication. They don't communicate to their content creators, to their audience. They don't answer questions. They're just highly lacking in communication.
Wow.
There's no developer transparency. They do updates. They don't tell us what the update even was. They fix a hero. They fix a bug. They don't even tell us they fixed a bug. Like, all of a sudden, some hero just stops working properly, or like, it's just a massive communication.
It's one of the worst. Yeah, it's one of the worst that I've seen. Cause like,
but I love the game.
Me and Ivy, just me and Ivy have been part of like I said at the beginning, several gacha games, like, you know, with IMR, Return Revolution, all of those ones, and most of them had pretty bad communication. But this one is the worst. It's like they never ever speak to you. There was like one. What was it called? Fireplace chat, where you were a part of it, and Scratch.
They did a developer
and then after
chat
that,
once.
it's like they disappeared.
It's like, do they have a?
They never talk.
Do they have like a? So like, do they have an Ivy League? Do they have a communicator, a communications person?
Yeah. There's definitely like 3 different community managers that have different roles. And there's supposed to be one that we always reply to about CC questions, but they never reply to DMs or the ats. So like, people are like, how do I get access to that spreadsheet so I can upload my views for the month? they never like people like, oh, I haven't uploaded in months because I'm not getting rewards because you're not replying to my messages. Like it's just terrible communication. They just need to be better. And that's like the CC program and CC chats are so important for the content creator to feel like they're acknowledged and to have, I don't know, it's just, they feel like they probably lose a lot of content creators, not even for the game, but for how crappy they are at communicating.
That is like, how is that so hard to get right? I don't understand.
Yeah,
like,
it's really not.
Even for Blizzard, like I was a Blizzard partner for a couple different games, and I can easily tag someone and get a reply. I don't like, how can these games not pull that off?
Yeah, I believe that maybe at least in this genre, if not in all gaming in general, I believe that one of the first things that they should focus on is definitely communication, and secondly, transparency.
Yeah.
So like I feel there's so many games out there, so many more that are coming and leaving, that if you're communicating with your community, not just content creators, just content creators and with the community, and if you're transparent, I believe that, you're never going to please everybody because, that's just a given. But I do believe that if you do those two things right, you're on the right path for success. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, and that's kind of that's a good note. Like, you're not going to please everybody, because that's not what communication is, right? Communication is about expressing, what's going on, the process of thinking why some of these things are happening. Because once you establish how the game is going to be running, maybe we'll have different events and seasons, and we'll have patches, and we'll be changing. Maybe there'll be changes to like, if you don't tell people those things, they're going to be like, okay, cool. I wake up in the morning. Oh, there's a patch. Cool. Wait, what's happening? Why is this thing broken or
tell
different?
Us, patches after they happen in Dragonair.
Right. So I mean, but yeah, to go back to what you were saying, it's not always like necessary. It's more important almost when there's a change that you think that the community is not going to be happy about, or maybe they won't quite understand why you did that unless you express, well, we've seen the data here, and there's actually a big problem that let's say, for example, we have to adjust a hero's abilities or whatever, like for whatever, like this thing is broken. That might be one reason, right? This thing is ruining the meta. It's not fun for anybody, right? That's going to be another direction. But then you have to be transparent. You have to communicate about that, and you have to be able to say, like, and compensate in a lot of, depending on what the change is, right? There could be. So it's like, I feel like all these things are known. What I guess always surprises me is like you said, how often it's kind of overlooked as like, oh, it's like when someone says soft skills. Like, soft skills are really important. Actually, they're very hard skills, and I think that as companies, people need to kind of like focus on that, and that's kind of what we're doing, I guess, with having that focus, having Susie or Ivy come in and kind of like be the kind of the spokesperson, both from us to the community, but also giving us an eye, or even more of an eye, on what the community wants and is interested in. So like
because this whole thing, it's a back and forth thing. It's like, the same way that the developer of a game would say, okay, we fixed this, or we did this and that, and these are the reasons. At the same time, they should also be keeping an eye out, because most of the time when communities, starts saying, okay, this might be a problem, when it starts reoccurring and several people start talking about it, they're like, that might need to be fixed,
maybe
or
something
issue might need to be changed. Exactly. It's like nobody would come. I mean, they're going to have 1, 2 people that complain for no reason. But, when there's more than like 10, 20, 50, 100, whatever people complaining about the same thing, it might be something they need to work on. Like we had that in Dragonair, for example. Don't remember exactly what something. Oh yeah, one of the things, they released a new hero. It was like, oh my god, she's so good, Rose. But she was not doing the basic thing that her kit was saying that she has to do. She was not cleansing the stuff. And like we had to complain. We had to, like, 4 or 5 content creators have made videos of like justice for her.
Like a bug report, basically. We've done. Here's the bug. Here you go.
Yeah, it's like the logic was like, oh yeah, it doesn't reach the tile, but it doesn't say nothing about the tiles. Like, what are you talking about? There's certain things that sometimes it's just common sense, but maybe as developers, you cannot always see everything, because the best testers for any game are going to be always the player base. Like, how many times did we have in games, a champion's released, everything seems fine, But then, like, after a month, something happens where, like, okay, that one's a little bit too broken.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's going to
They
have to
find an
be
interaction between two characters, and you're like, hang on,
Yeah.
so this is
Oops.
essentially an infinite loop, and whoops, now this is
Yeah.
just murders this
Yeah.
boss or whatever.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's going to frustrate the community, but it's logical. This is not working as intended. You know, it's like you cannot have something to be that broken and then that thing just beats everything else.
Yeah.
It's that doesn't work. That's the whole idea, like we were mentioning earlier, of why these games with, like, you want to launch 300 plus heroes going to be fun, because you're going to have all of those heroes. Each and every single one of them is going to have a specific role. If you have just one or two that basically obliterates everything else, what's the whole point? Where's the fun in testing every single one of those other heroes?
Yeah, it becomes a non-choice. Like, who am I picking on my team? Well, two of them have to be these characters because they're the best. Like, that's not fun. No one really wants that.
Yeah.
But
It's like, even with the example, like Brad said earlier, like, oh yeah, the question you always had, like, what's number one first 6-star? Kill. That's true if you pick Kill. However, if you had Aethel was good as well because she has triple hit.
Female Hane.
Female Hane. Like, yeah, you know, every single one had a specific role. Like, yeah, Gaelic was just the worst. But out of even from the starters, that's a basic, simple example. From the 4 starters, 3 of them at least all had their specific thing that they're a little bit better,
at. Yeah,
than the other one.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just visiting with one of the young men, actually, I would say that I coach. I coach professional rock climbers, and I was visiting. He was in town, and I was talking to him. He's working at a consulting firm, and he was telling me, he's like, oh, I got so busy, I haven't been playing these other games. I picked up Raid. I was like, what? When did this happen? Like that. I mean, that's awesome. Let's check out what you got. Yeah. And but he had picked Gaelic, and I'm like,
people pick him because he looks cool. Yeah.
Like,
I picked him like Orc, cool Mohawk.
Yeah, he looks sweet.
Yeah,
Wait, did we all pick Gaelic, or no? You picked Elaine?
No, Elhain.
I picked. I started Raid before there was literally any content on the game, and I literally alt-tabbed and tried to find who to pick, and there was nothing. So I picked Gaelic because I'm like, well, I have no clue who's the better one. But Gaelic is literally the app icon, so there's no way that he's trash. And of course, I was wrong.
Trap.
So
it's a trap. They made it
baited you.
It's a trap. Yeah,
hated me.
Yeah, that's funny. But so, like, kind of going back to these kind of community programs, kind of like, I'm sure you have a million ideas, but are there any fun ones that kind of like that come to mind? And maybe you don't have to say for like what we're going to do specifically at Fateless, but ones that you've seen that you've really liked and were successful that you could speak to, and maybe with Dragonair or Watcher or Raid or whatever.
Actually, we liked it. We're hating on Dragonair because the communication's so bad and there's a lot of messes, but their content creator program has been the best I've ever seen. If only they talk to us. They have a really good like setup of in-game rewards. They have cash bonuses every month, and they give giveaway codes for certain tiers every month as well. And any content creator can get the test server if they just apply for it. So I think that's a big strong value. I hate the idea of Raid with the tiers by subscribers. Subscribers don't matter anymore. The way YouTube algorithm works, your views are not reliant on your subscribers anymore. So I would hope that we would not do something that's subscriber focused for goals, because that is no longer the meta with YouTube.
Is the metric then views? Is that the, or like views on
always
video?
Views.
Yeah.
Total views throughout the month that's only on that game content. Like, so you'd fill out a spreadsheet with your views within that time period. Like, you have to, only new videos for the month seems to be the normal. Like, starting, like, I think it works really well. I've done it in Watcher, I've done it in Dragonair, I've done it in IMR, I think other games too, where you fill out a spreadsheet and you just say, these are my videos, this was the views at the certain date when the views are due. So you get a few days overlap from the current month or whatever, or the past month. And it kind of just, it's only the relevant, but it makes people still be, making content, where if you just do it on the overall views of your channel for the month, that could be views from 6 months ago from the last game that you're playing that's not the current game. Yeah. Or if you have a channel that's multiple games. That kind of a thing, and really matters. It makes a difference.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. I thought you were done there. I agree with you. The subs is pointless. I would say honestly, like, total minutes viewed, because if we had like a content creator program, we'd want to promote like quality content, like 15 minutes instead of like 3 minutes. I'd say almost total minutes
Yeah.
viewed would be but yeah, YouTube doesn't care.
Well, it's still
Honestly,
by views in general anyway, though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if it's like,
yeah. And the algorithm doesn't care at all. It's actually, as a
Yeah.
YouTuber, it can be bad to have most of your views coming from subscribers, because that means you're not reaching a broader audience.
it's true.
So you honestly want a low like percentage. You want like 30 or 40% subscribed. If you get up to like 60, that means your channel's dying and you're not reaching new people.
Interesting. I never
Gotta
looked at it that way.
Gotta check my YouTube.
He's like,
When
hang on,
it's
wait,
available.
let's check this. Well,
Because
but what's actually interesting about this part of the conversation is like, in my mind, I'm hoping that there's a bunch of people watching right now that will end up becoming, content creators for the game, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of like you were saying, Oddone, where you were just watching other people, you were watching Simon, and you were thinking
Yeah.
about it, and you just really enjoyed the game. It's like, what we would hope is that we would have a really amazing community for people to come in and hang out and chat and talk about what they're excited about, what they like in the game, what champions or heroes that they should be building up, what builds they should have, all that type of stuff. But also the opportunity to feel like, if you have an interesting take on something and you like to chat and talk and express it, that we would have a nice path for you to kind of get you, into content creation. So like, it's kind of interesting from this perspective, because it's
I believe
tough.
that this is something that's gonna continue. So again, from my point of view, not trying to be a kiss ass, but you already have a good start, like with Simon, with yourself, with Brad, with Susie.
Ash?
We're already people that Ash, or like lots of people that we already connected. We are already part of a group, and we're constantly talking to each other. And we're all people, like even myself, I'm a smaller, like I never consider myself a big CC. I'm a smaller content creator, but it's so heartwarming to see when I have people reaching out to me that like, oh, I'm watching your videos, I'm trying to get into content creation, what tips, what ideas, and I always try to pass it on the same way that Simon helped me when I did it. I always try to pass it on, and I guarantee that that's gonna happen for the Fateless game, and I will always do my best if somebody's gonna reach out to me for some advice, as long as the time allows me. Full-time father first of all, then a full-time content creator. As long as time will allow me, I will always try to help out, up and coming content creators, especially for this game that I know it's gonna succeed. It has to.
Yeah. It's the further along we get into development and production, all the like, as we're seeing things come together, and kind of like this demo that we're working on right now, as it gets closer and closer, like, oh man, I feel it's the confidence level is even going up even more. Like we had a great group of people as the base, and then we found a great like development team like to do co-development with, and man, they're just crushing it. So yeah, I mean, I think if you've been paying attention, or if you guys check out the channel, you can see all the amazing art, and don't just take my word for it. You can see it.
Yeah. You know what the coolest thing is though? Like at least once a week, I see or I hear someone's like, oh, when's the Fateless game coming out? Oh, when's this? So that's the cool thing, that without even starting the marketing phase, people are already hyped up about it. People are already looking forward to it, and that's a good sign. That's what usually makes games just explode and do really well. When there's already hype before the marketing started, it's like, what better thing can you
and
ask?
hype that's warranted, right? It's hype. It's like hype because not because we put out a sweet video and we're making a bunch of promises about what it might do. It's more like we have this building community that is built not just on like the idea of the game, but it's around the community itself, like around the shared ideas about what makes a good game, what makes a fun game, what makes a great community. Like I think that's probably why we have like we have a lot of people that enjoy hanging out, essentially, like and talking about the genre. But I keep wanting to say Ivy, but I'm gonna go Susie, because like what do you prefer? Like
I mean, with the Fateless stuff, it's Susie. I get that's how it is.
Yeah, we never know to use. We never use no like because we'll look at this comment still like, who the hell is Simon? Like so like we never know if we should use like our gamer tag or the real name or whatever.
But so
I
for
think
Susie,
just intros to like say AKA
I really what would be like a program that you've seen, and again, not just from a communication standpoint, but for not creator, but for content creators to communicate with kind of like the devs, what has been like the biggest issue? Was it just that you're not getting like responses, or is it that you're not finding that the it's actually listened to? I guess because I feel like those are two different things in some ways.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of both, probably. Like, so obviously a CC chat where the CCs are allowed to complain and ask questions. Like, we've been in CC chats where they kind of seem to want to shut you up and be like, this is just a chat for CCs. It's not necessarily a way to talk to the devs. It's
Game
like, well, then what is it
design or
for? Yeah, it's like, so as long as you have an active CM, which, you know, it'll be mean, talking to those CCs and actually responding, then feeding back that stuff to the devs and coming back with questions on a regular basis, that's important. Also, things like a weekly developer Q&A Dragonair started to do, and then they
Yes.
stopped. But
Mm.
if you had that sort of thing, people love that. It makes it like, so you pick and choose some commonly asked questions and answer them and put out a weekly Q&A, and that makes easy content for content creators. They'll make a video on the Q&A. You know, like, it's all stuff that like kind of pulls into the social aspect of it as well. And then I don't know, just actually, if the game is not willing to listen to feedback, stop ignoring the question and just address it. Like,
Yeah.
even if so,
That's
like
the
with
worst.
Dragonair with the seasons, we just been like, can you just tell us what your plans are? They don't know. Well,
What's
then
the
tell
game
us you
plan?
don't know. If you
You're like-
don't know, and just be like, we're honestly working on this, guys. We know it's an issue. We've heard your concerns, but we're still working on it. Please be patient. If they would just say that, that would make people happy. And they don't even say that. They're not like, we
Yeah.
understand, we're working on it. They don't even say that. Like, at least something. I think that just transparency and, yeah, just talking. I don't know. It's so...
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've been asking
it's a
about the
little
whole
bit of
season
both.
stuff, like 6 months. 6 months since like season 2 was middle and towards the end. We've been asking.
Yeah.
Not even one single specific. We got kind of an answer from one of the CMs that they're looking into it, and we're
Oh,
like,
no.
okay, just make an official statement
And they
so
won't do
that the
it.
community knows. It's like, if you don't do that, it's like, oh my God, why are you trying to kill your game? You know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's so simple, and like Susie mentioned earlier, the whole thing about the Q&A, that's the easiest way to not make it seem, but that's the easiest way for the developers to talk to the community. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
Watcher
this
does it
week,
too.
this is what's happening. Yeah, Watcher does it amazingly.
Yeah.
This week, this is what's happening. It doesn't have to be all fancy, game-changing every single time, but we rebalance this champion. We're looking into building
Yeah.
this. We're doing that. That's easy communication. That's developer actually talking to its community every single week. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, what, that's also shows the transparency, which people love. People need to have that little bit of transparency, because the more silent you are, the less the community is going to trust you, because they're going to be like, oh, they're doing something shady. Oh, they're preparing something. And you definitely don't want that. There's plenty of games out there that do that. You don't want that.
You know what I was also wondering? Why do you think the shift from like in-game, like, do you guys remember like in World of Warcraft when you had like an issue and then you would like send us support and like a GM would literally show up in game? Do you guys remember that? I don't know if you guys played World of Warcraft.
I did, but I don't remember.
Yeah, well, so
Yeah,
like very early, right? They would you would literally get somebody that would they would like teleport into your world, and they'd be standing next to you like floating just because they were like, I want to be cool, and they would like RP with you, and like it was like that was a really fun experience, and obviously it's just a volume issue, right? When you have millions of people playing a game, you can't also have hundreds of thousands, let's say, of these people that are going to come on and do this. But so what's your feeling on like the best platform for these discussions, right? Is it Discord? Is it YouTube? Like is it in game? Like what do you guys think? What's the best spot for that type of discussion?
Both.
I'm not sure how hard or easy it is to do it in game, but the easiest way would always be to do it in game, because not everybody, at least, okay, everybody has access to YouTube, but I've seen that lots of cases where not everybody has Discord, or not everybody's willing to install a Discord. So yeah, it might be tough to introduce it in game, but I feel like that would be the easiest and best way, because it's kind of like, you're there in the game. If you know that there's a button where you can connect and somebody jumps in chat with you or whatever, I feel like that would be the easiest way from my point of view.
Yeah, it's funny. I think you're right. I think that would be a huge one. But maybe it is both. Like kind of what you were saying, Susie.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think like communication about upcoming patches or updates to come, that the same post you put, like Watcher of Realms is perfect. You know how they do that, Sham. they have great posts, and those same posts could go on Discord too.
They just
so
throw it
it's
on,
like
on Discord additionally.
or like maybe before it comes in game, it goes on Discord first, so then content creators can be on top of it and make videos about it, and then
Yeah.
it pops in the game next day. That would be nice actually to allow people to give a little heads up and hype about what's coming. But yeah, having that, it has to be both because you can't assume everyone's in Discord.
Right.
But I think posts from Discord can sometimes be a little bit easier to like get notifications for, or to copy the graphics, or to make a video on, or as a content creator. I don't know. I think Discord community is important at the end of the day, but it can't be the only place to like get support help. You have to have your official
everyone must go to
website.
Discord to find this information.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I misunderstood the question. I thought you meant support as like
Like
somebody has
both.
an issue, like you take it. But like for the sense of like updates, like totally agreed. Like yeah, in game and Discord can easily be done.
Yeah, it's such a funny thing, like the kind of transition, because when you really think about what your phone is it's your communication device, right? And you spend all your time kind of doing that stuff. And it would be a phone, I mean, cross-platform game, but a phone game primarily.
Mhm.
You look at your phone, but for whatever reason, you have to switch to get that communication. You know what I mean? Like it is.
Yeah.
I guess you don't switch to your computer, but it just seems funny to me that like that would be so difficult to solve. It's one of those things that's kind of been in the back of my mind of like maybe there is a way for it to be more of it integrated into the game, and whether or not
Dragonair does it okay. Like they have a little headphones icon that's customer service that you can click on in game, and that will open up a little like website, but it's still part of the game kind of thing.
Okay.
That you can submit a support ticket or ask for customer service right there, so you don't have to like leave the game, open up Discord, or go to a website. It's still linked within the game at least.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where there's standards that functionally work now, and we will definitely have like at minimum something like that. But we're always trying to kind of like try to innovate in a positive way by listening to like what are the things that what are the pain points, right? Why are people not feeling heard? Let's say, for example, like let's say you like you said, if you're a content creator and you're messaging the person that's supposed to be the community manager, for example, and you're not getting communication, obviously you don't feel heard, right? You're not that's not a great thing. But if there was some way that we could integrate it in game, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, when you were talking about that, I kind of had this idea pop into my head, but I was just wondering if there was a way to make it so it's like I'm playing the game, and that's actually also a great place for me to connect with the people in the community. Like if we could facilitate that, that's almost like one tier above what I think any of these other games have really been able to accomplish. Like do you communicate?
Chats are usually forgotten, right? Like in-game chat, people usually ignore them.
Right, you just immediately abandon them. Yeah,
that could be like maybe in game. There could be maybe one special channel that you create that, like, if somebody wants to, I don't know, talk to a mod or to talk with somebody different, they specifically go to that channel.
Yeah.
And there could be like, that won't be specifically for talking.
Kind of jump you over there.
Yeah, it's because I don't think I'm guessing it's gonna be like any other game. You're gonna have some mods that are gonna be those chats or like whatever. That could be one of the easier way to do it.
Yeah.
But like again, you don't have to switch platform. That's easier for people to do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I think when you're sitting in those platforms, you're already sitting in that platform because you're playing the game and you have a question about the game. It seems like it would be nice if you could easily do it, and it was also the best place to still keep communication up with the people you are connected with, right? So I think part of the reason why Discord is so popular in some ways for a lot of these games, even after they're popular, even if it's a full server, is because they might have like these, like let's say the guild or a clan is only 30 people, but they've got this much larger community they want to be able to connect with easily and separate it out. And maybe that's not realistically solvable, like or even if it may not even be needed, but it just got me thinking like, okay, is there a way to make that a smoother experience, right, for a player to kind of like connect with their community that they've built up and hopefully that we've facilitated.
It might be tough to do it in a way because the idea that I said with having a specific chat, that might work, but at the same time You might have people that come there and just spam.
They're just gonna
So
spam,
it's
and
like,
then you're like, oh,
it's gonna
sweet, this
be,
is fun.
like they might come in there to talk to the mods about something. Like, who do I 6-star first? Who do I build next? Like,
then you're trying
it's
to, you have
gonna
to
be
moderate.
hard fighting
You have to
about.
moderate those chats. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it could
it's
be
like-
a lot.
Sometimes you
see-
go in a direction and you're like, well, that was interesting, but it's not gonna work, at least for what we're
Yeah, it's like you have to test it before you see if it fails or not.
exactly.
If
Well,
you
yeah,
could-
I think in a guild chat, though, like maybe on a smaller scale,
Yeah.
at least your guild chat needs to be solid to where you don't have to be in the chat to see a message. If you go back tomorrow and all the messages are gone, like you're like, what were you
Yeah.
even talking about? Because some people
Right.
don't use Discord for guild chat. So having a nice flow where it retains messages, where announcements are clear, where there can be maybe you're pinged with a red dot if your guild leader says, hey guys, go do this thing. Like having a good guild chat for interaction, I think, is probably the best solution for at least some interaction.
At least, and then potentially for guild, we're spoilers, I guess. We're calling them kind of like alliances, but having like
Yeah.
groups of.
I was just gonna say that.
Well,
Like,
what are the
there's
leaks
so
here,
many-
Sham?
I'm sorry. Hold on. Redact.
What is going on here?
I was just gonna say that there's so many, like, in raid now. There's so many because of the obviously limited number of people in the clans, just 30. There's so many clusters. So there's like 10, 15, 20
Oh, yeah.
clans of the same cluster. If there was a way that they could all, cluster, they have boom. They're all able to join this
Well, that's
specific
true,
chat,
too.
but only if you're in a specific cluster.
If
So
only.
that would be the best thing ever.
Yeah.
That means that people that don't have Discord don't have to go to Discord anymore. They're gonna have it in game.
Brett, Dan's
That's my
not
idea.
in today, right? There's no issues
Yeah,
here.
yeah. I think Dan's. Yeah, it's
Well,
already.
he
He's already.
wasn't
It's
saying-
Friday.
Odd one. He wasn't saying alliances as in celestials or
Yeah, no, I
OG.
was-
He was saying the term of guild or clan as alliance.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Exactly.
If you guys could
Yeah.
see me laughing, it's because you want to know who Raid's first moderator crew was? It was like
King.
me and Kizzle and Darth.
No, it wasn't.
That sounds like a fun time.
Yes,
That sounds like a
that's a
fun
great
time.
That's a
crew.
party.
Like when we get Kizzle on the channel, we gotta talk about the early days of moderating for Raid. It was so
That's
funny.
funny.
Me and imagine me and Kizzle trying
He's
to like moderate the
hilarious.
forums.
No,
Yeah.
but just to clarify, because I do want to make sure that this is kind of spoiled. I don't get to spoil that much, and I feel like this is a good one. And I feel like we should just let people know that we probably are going to do something like this. We're gonna be calling we're going with clans, at least for now. We might rebrand it for lore if we feel like we need to, but I am saying that we're gonna have these nice clusters. Yeah. And
That is what you meant. Oh.
we just think it's
Yeah.
huge. I mean,
I like it.
are you guys a part of a cluster?
Yeah,
Yes.
Celestials or used to be part of Claw.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The
OG in raid.
OG now.
the reason that
Yeah.
you stick around in these games isn't just because of your clan. Your clan's important, but
Mhm.
it's usually because of the larger group, the cluster that you're in. It's really nice to be a part of that larger community, and so I am saying that we are gonna.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
that's
is
cool,
what you
'cause
meant.
you-
I love that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Usually, a single clan, it's just 30. People usually dies off. One person leaves, the next one leaves, next one, it's out. But when you're part of a cluster of, like, let's say 10, that's 300 people that you always mix and match. People go
You can
together.
move around. Exactly.
Exactly. That makes it amazing because, at least that way you avoid the frustration for people that are tryhards, avoid the frustration for people that are chillers. Basically, clusters are basically a safe space for every type of player in any game.
Yeah.
So the fact that you guys are going to implement something to accommodate
Yeah.
that, it's massive win.
Yeah.
Massive
Yeah,
win.
I love
That's the
Love
thing.
it.
We keep saying we're all about community, and I feel like this is one of those ways that we can
Yep.
really actually action on that, right? Actually make it so players have an easy way to kind of feel like they can, things that people are already facilitating, but through other methods, right?
Other-
Yeah, you go
other
have to go
platforms.
somewhere else, and you have this. Maybe they'll have a website, or they'll have a Discord, and they'll organize it. But if we can do some of that in game and facilitate communication, that's kind of what I'm saying. I think that we will. It'll be a win. Sounds like it's a win.
I like it.
Odd
It's a win. I love it. I
That's a
love it.
win.
Honestly.
Yeah,
I love
that's
it because
amazing.
in any game that I've played recently, like it was with Raid, it's even with Watcher, it happens, even with Eternal Evolution, the fact that you can always have that larger group to be a part of, where you can mix and match and swap around and communicate with people, it helps. Because you know what? It also helps on the learning the game and playing the game
Yeah.
and advancing in the game. Because sometimes, you might be in a smaller clan, okay, and you're stuck on progressing to the next level, but you get to the point where you could push the next level. However, all of your clanmates are stuck at the same
But
point.
you're looking back at
That's
the
what you
clan
would-
and you're like, what are you guys?
Exactly.
Are
Yeah,
we gonna...
yeah, but you might have another one, from the classes you're part of that can come up with a better idea and, can help you push forward. That's going to drag everybody else. And if people communicate and they solve problems together, because sometimes you're stuck, we play these games to solve problems on our own. Sometimes you get stuck, but you just want to pass it. And to have a larger group of people that can help you with that just makes the game enjoyable. People usually quit games when they get frustrated
Yep.
when they get stuck to a certain point.
Yep.
So having that available
I didn't
is
know.
gonna make it
I didn't
awesome.
know Sham was getting after that today, but you only heard 5% of it. It is going to be an epic.
Let's
epic
not
That's a
spoil
good-
too much. Let's not spoil
Oh,
too
wait,
It's
much.
a
I
good
got-
leak.
Sorry, Dan's calling me. Hey, no, I was just letting you know Sham's talking about our alliance feature. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Step into your office after the call. Okay. Yep. No problem. Okay. Yep, bye.
cut. Well, so we could talk forever. This is awesome to have you guys on, but I do want to make sure that we ask our 2 questions. So Brad, I'm gonna let you ask the 2 questions today because I always do it.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. So we just like to, on the way out, kind of ask you what's next, what you're going to be working on in the near future, what games you're playing, content plans, and all that going on in your life. So we'll start with that, and we'll start with you, Ivy. What's next for you?
Well, Fateless is now my focus. It's a part-time job per se, but I'm definitely treating it like a full-time one with my main priorities. So if that means I don't post some videos for a day because I'm busy with Fateless stuff, then that's what that means. And I want to do my best to keep the community engaged. And as things grow, yeah, I'm gonna be helping now in the Discords and random stuff, but I'll be the banana, the bunny, the Evelyn, or Fino for the other games we play. Like I want to be that wonderful contact to content creators that make them feel heard and can communicate back to the developers about the biggest concerns and actually give answers. So I really look forward to that. I love that. I'm excited to help create a content creator program. I love that kind of stuff. Like I really want to be involved with that, and I think it's a perfect job for me. So that's really my what's next.
That's
Love it.
awesome, and you're gonna do great because you understand all of the perspectives. You understand what it's like to be a creator, what it's like to be a player, and what it's like to kind of be on the Fateless side and hear what we're saying. So you get all of the perspectives. You've done the streaming, the videos, so yeah, I'm excited. I think you're gonna do amazing.
Yeah, agreed.
Thank you.
And Oddone, what about you? What's next?
Well, for me, honestly, I forgot to mention this earlier,
yeah.
but I actually recently started collaborating working with Ash on Raid Shadow Legends. It's
go.
kind of like my main priority because we all know how busy of a person Ash is. So I'm kind of helping him out with some video ideas and team buildings for his channel. That's kind of like my priority number 1 right now. Because the other games, I've been playing all 3, but it's kind of like floating, going up and down, up and down. So I kind of recently just dropped Dragonair, not gonna lie, because views were not worth it. And like I mentioned as well, with the baby girl, I'm a full-time dad.
Yeah.
So that's first. I try to spend as much time as I can with her during the day. Time doesn't allow me to do everything. So I'm just floating with them and not trying to be a kiss-ass again, but I'm kind of waiting for the Fateless game to come out. I feel like I mentioned this, like Susie can confirm that I'm not lying. I feel like if once Fateless game comes out and if it is gonna have the success that I believe is gonna have, that's gonna be the thing that's gonna make me quit Raid as well. That's what I'm.
Okay.
That's what
Dude,
I'm,
odd one.
That's what I'm
amazing,
waiting for.
So I was on a call with
You heard it
Ash
here first.
probably like 2 months ago, and we were talking, and I was telling him like, why don't you have someone helping you like with and that ended up being you, huh?
Yeah, it's like he actually shout out to my brother from another mother, Scratch. Ash talked to Scratch, and like Scratch said about me, and then we talked, and it's working good so far, so good. I'm happy, he's happy, and that's
Well, same
amazing.
thing I said
That's
to Ivy.
amazing.
You're gonna be amazing in that role. So I'm excited that Ash is working with you. That's awesome. And then the
Thank you.
last question we like to ask on the way out is on the spot here to get a first gut reaction. Is if you could pick one myth, god, legend for this type of game that we're
prepare.
producing, who is
Mhm.
the first one that comes to mind where you're like, oh, I'm just a huge fan of the lore of this person, whether it's Leonidas,
like Robin Hood,
Yeah,
for example.
yeah,
like
Robin
that would
Hood, so is there anybody that comes to mind where you're like, they better be in your game and you better do a good job with them because they're my favorite, and we'll let you go first this time on one.
Achilles. Achilles better be in the game.
Okay.
Like,
The dip, the dip.
yeah, like he's definitely, you know, I always just loved everything about the Greek mythology, and also, you know, all the heroes and legends and whatnot, and obviously with the film as well with Brad Pitt. Just like, I could watch that movie a million
I
times
know.
and still not get sick of it. But
It is a great one.
Achilles definitely adds, like, is there no one else? There's no one else. It's like, yeah, he better be in the game.
So many,
Okay,
so many
no
good
spoilers.
one-liners.
And he better not be a common. He better not be a
He
common.
better not be a common. No spoilers, no spoilers. But okay, love it, love it.
Yeah, go ahead,
Susie?
Ivy.
For me, I was never super into mythology and stuff, honestly. Like, I appreciate it. So I don't have one person that comes to mind, but more for me, I think of future IP collaborations and doing really cool stuff. Like, this might be reaching because it's huge, but you never know. Your game's going to be huge, right? Our game is going to be huge.
Yes.
What about something interesting like Vikings, right? Like, if we could have the main characters, you know, like, how cool would that be to have those characters be a character? Like how Raid brought in Xena.
Yeah,
Like, you know, it fits the
Yes.
vibe. So something like the official Vikings series, like having the real heroes.
And
Something
do you
cool
know
like
what-
that takes in.
do you
Yeah,
do you know
exactly,
the Viking
Ragnar.
character? Have you watched that? Like,
Yeah,
okay,
we've watched it. Yep.
who would be, so then of those characters of the Vikings that you could think of, who would you
Oh
want?
man.
Who would you be like, we're gonna get this one guy or gal?
I mean,
Loki.
yeah. Loki, no,
Loki.
no.
She hated Floki.
I hated Floki.
Okay.
I would, yeah,
I
the
love Floki.
obvious Ragnar and his lovely lady, but she's.
Okay,
Oh, am
okay.
I blanking on her name right now?
Lagertha.
Lagatha. Yes, thank you. I was
Okay.
just totally blanking on her
Okay.
name.
Okay. Again, no spoilers, but I love that idea of the collab with like a movie or a show or something like that, where that can kind of like fit in with the
That fits the
concept
vibe,
of like the
yeah.
myth and
That would be perfect. That would be huge, because that's whole Viking series has such a huge fan base that it would be a hit. It would be a hit.
that's awesome. Well,
Yeah, no, it's been amazing. Thanks for taking the time to join us. Really, really fun episode, getting your perspectives and everything. And we will link down below to everything you're gonna need to check out Ivy Lee and Odd One, and lots of fun things coming up. We'll have also all the links for you to join the Discord and be a part of all the conversations happening over there about designing our game. So cheers, everybody. Thanks. Have a good rest of your week.
cheers. Thanks, guys.